Today is Wednesday, April the 7th, and we have another data point today. Um, and I think it's an important one. Volume is lacking, and I'm going to show you when we go through some stocks at the end, which we haven't done before. We're going to take a look at Finviz, and we're going to look at the key stocks that are moving the market in two areas: consumer, cyclical, and industrial. You see the McClellan oscillator dropped a bit here, and the decliners led advancers by 2 to 1. Let's go straight to the charts, and let's look at the Dow Jones, which pulled off of its high. NASDAQ stuck at 178.6 now for 3 days in a row, struggling with that one. The S&P 500. Well, while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at the VIX. The volatility index, and we're waiting for that. So there's the S&P. 3 days in a row now, we're forming a little bit of this is not a cup and handle, but we're forming a little bit of a channeling pattern. If you apply some Bollingers to this, we have the Bollingers opening wider, but we have now 3 days where we're outside of the top of the Bollinger Bands, which should indicate that tomorrow we are going to come back into range, and we should have a little bit of a drop. We said the volatility index going lower. Now let's take a look at the key stocks. BDLR, which we haven't looked at in a while, is not making new highs, but we had set the 200% as our alert. So you could get into that. I only have 13% cash, and I think that that's a little bit too tight right now. ALEC down, almost a test of the cloud. We called for this move upwards. We've got that move upwards. Now we're coming a little bit higher. Today's low was pretty much at the top of the trailing candle 26 days back. Apple had a great day, up 1.73%. If there's a stock that I'm comfortable in adding to right now, it's Apple. Above the 50, just below the cloud. Yes, there will be rejection off of the cloud tomorrow. You can almost count on that. Where is the Chiku span? That's important. Let's highlight the Chiku span, and it is right above. Is it? It's hard to see here with the colors, but it is right there, right above, because it closed at its high, and that's an important thing about Apple. It closed at its high, and the Chiku span is right above that 26-day candle. Next resistance is going to be the 50. Now the 50 up here, let's draw a line and see where that would be. That would be right there. And what does that coincide with? Actually in the cloud, not the top of the cloud. So a couple of things. The cloud will be resistance. The Chiku span on the 50 will be resistance. But Apple has the momentum to break it. It's slow moving, stochastic moving it. Momentum indicator is moving up. So the long-term forecast for this is up. ABBV down a little bit. That's just a stock that we're buying for its dividend. So if it doesn't go anywhere, as long as it churns or goes flat or goes up, I'm happy with that. Same thing with IBM, bought that for its 5% dividend. It is also in a bit of a tight channel here, so that's fine. Caterpillar up at 230. Home Depot $312. Wow. Incredible. But the banks today had a good day. You saw on the Finviz, the banks were all green. JP Morgan up 1.6%, US Bank up 1%. NEO is my straggler. The only stock that I have that is hurting me right now is NEO. And I'm okay with that. The 200 seems to be support. The Chiku span is, this is a weak chart, but the 200 has been support. The 200 simple moving average should be support. We do have a gap down here. NEO is the kind of stock that you just, in my opinion, you just hold on to it for a while because it's well positioned in a very opportune market. Plug has also been another loser for me. but PRGS, it's time to pull the plug on this one. It has completed its CD, and now we've had 2 days where we've pushed up to the D, and now we've pulled back. I actually had made a tiny bit of a profit on PRGS, and we entered it simply because we wanted to prove the theory that if you have X and A, and B is 61.8% of XA, that's a Gartley pattern, falls down into here into this acceptable range. Once you've got to bounce up, and unfortunately we had this big bounce up on the second day, and that's where I bought, and only a couple of hundred shares. So now it's time to get out. So tomorrow I will exit this, and I think we proved the point that CD pattern did trade. Last one we want to look at here is Square. Another big day today, up 3.6%. Look at that, pretty strong. Let's go and look at the Ichimoku, and you can see that it stopped today right at the top of the cloud, and the Chiku span stopped at the 8 EMA. The high of the day was here, so tomorrow we're going to see this point here, the 8 EMA up here at 246.60 something looks like, will be resistance, but there's an opportunity now. Square really should be pulling back because it stopped right at the top of the cloud. Now let's take a look at some sectors, and let's go into Finviz, and let's look at the screener, and let's do a market cap. We want to look at mega companies. We want to take a look at stocks that are in the S&P 500. We want stocks that have a dividend. So let's just say that it's stocks with a dividend yield over 1%. We'd like it to have reasonable trading volume, so 1 million shares. The sector we want to look at is consumer cyclical. And there's only one stock to look at here. Interesting. Home Depot. So let's back off a little bit, and let's just say that we want to have a positive. That just gives us 2 stocks. Let's go a little bit smaller. Let's go into the large caps. Now we've got a couple of pages worth of shares. Let's take a look at the charts. First of all, let's just look at American companies. So if we want to say country, United States. We could look at shorts, but we won't. You can do that for refining if you want to find a stock that's been heavily shorted. So what have we got here? We got special, let's just group these together. We've got apparel manufacturing, 3 in apparel retail, packaging and containers, restaurants, specialty retail. But let's go and look at the charts now. And what concerns me is that all of these charts, here's the chart now of VFC, don't even know who they are, but has started to move up above this trend line, up to $85. Looks like it could be heading to $90. GPS, again, there's a bit of an opportunity to move up to its high. Ross Stores is at a high. Lowe's is above its all-time high, so above these 2 double tops here. BWA pulled back. TJ Maxx Stores has a multiple top and is pulling back up to 70. But really, is there any real opportunity here, or are these telling us that there's sellers waiting at the highs to just cash out? BLL, don't know what they do. There's a stock that's broken out, Ball Corporation, packaging and containers. That's a stock you might want to look at that's broken out of this channel and could be moving up. PHM is at a new high. ROL gets Rollins Personal Services, don't know what they do. But from a technical point, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tips of this trend line here, and then moving up. that could be a stock you want to look at if you want to invest in this particular sector. Let's just take it the last few. You got Lennar, a builder. You got DR Horton, a builder. But again, these are highs. MGM could be breaking out. Do you want to invest in casinos right now? Maybe. I mean, maybe that's where people are going to go on vacation once they've had their vaccine. McDonald's has made a new high. Yum has made a new high. Darden Restaurants about to make a new high. Starbucks has made a high. Best Buy is approaching its high. Tractor Supply Company making a new high. So really, there's not a lot of opportunity in this sector. This is telling us that technically the stocks are at positions where they could move up a little bit, but there could be some selling. The other one we wanted to look at was the industrials. And here we've got the same parameters, right? Large company, positive dividend, over 1 million shares trading. Textron is at a high. LHX, GD, RTX, NOC is down. If you drew a Fibonacci on that, you might see an opportunity here. What are they? Northrop Grumman. Are we going to war anytime soon? Probably not. Lockheed Martin, again, are we going to war anytime soon? Probably not. Is this a stock that I would buy right now? Probably not. Carrier Global in building products, is that air conditioners? It's at a high. Masco is at a high. Quanta Services, PWR, nice channel, pulled back off the top of this channel. There's a stock that if it breaks out of the channel, you might want to look at that one. Here's a wedge on PACCAR, Farman, heavy construction machinery. Is this something that's going to benefit from the stimulus? Deere certainly is, but it's near its high. Let's just look at one more page of stocks. But the message here is obvious. We've looked at 30, 40 different charts now, and they're all telling us that stocks are trading up near their highs. So let's go back, and there's Caterpillar, Fastenal. That was something that I think one of our folks, Andy, was looking at one time. Big pullback here. Maybe that was earnings, although we're not really started earnings season yet. Don't know why it had that pullback. Go into the news. Just click on Fastenal. Look at the news. They've had a downgrade. But that was December, so that's too long ago. But April the 6th, they report next week, expects earnings growth, and still the stock pulled back. Could be an opportunity there. FedEx, again, up near a high, but has broken a trend line. UPS, broken a trend line. Anyways, you get the point. Stocks are trading up near their highs. The markets are up near their highs. Volume is low. There could be another bump in the S&P that could happen before the end of April, but then we've got May coming. We could be in a trading freeze until we get some definite movement on corporate taxes and what kind of Democrat support is going to be behind a $2 million, a $3 million, or a $4 million, $1 trillion stimulus package. But that's what the market is waiting for, and everything is hovering near their highs.